Brainhum Corporation is an Aboriginal IT company. We specialize in web design, web application, programming, and graphic design. Brainhum is basically myself and Kelvin. I'm here in Edmonton, and Kelvin manages the sales out in Ottawa.
Jeff and I actually met working on a project together. I was the primary contractor on this project, and Jeff was helping out with some of the programming. And I think it was pretty much a logical step. We decided to start doing work together on a more formal basis, and it really kind of took off from there.
I spent about 2.5 years in Silicon Valley. I designed websites for School City, which is an educational multimedia company. The speed of the projects there, somebody will have an idea, the money's available, we do it like tomorrow or tonight, basically. We're getting larger and larger projects that span over 2-3 months, and of course bring in more revenues than the smaller web design projects. The cost of our projects range anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000. It really depends on the size of the project. So it has grown quite a lot, and it continues to keep growing. Brainhum is unique because we will help find funding for website design projects. And a lot of nonprofits don't have the funds to create websites for promotion across Canada.
Well, we have a very close niche. It deals specifically with nonprofit organizations. To date, we've done a number of groundbreaking projects online with regards to health and Aboriginal issues. Generally, the social programming that we do is on a national scale, so it helps to be in Ottawa. So that's what I'm doing in Ottawa. I'm actually getting clients.
Working with nonprofits, they're planting the seed or coming up with an idea. 6-8 months down the road is when the project actually gets funded. And when funding is approved, the check takes, a couple months. For a proposal to become successful, basically what Kelvin looks at is the goals of the nonprofit organization, and then he'll look at various government departments or even private sector foundations and match up the nonprofit organization and the government agency or the foundation, and if there's a successful fit, then we'll submit the proposal. And when it comes down to the technical part, I will write kind of the steps of what I'm going to do for the website or the web application and how that relates to the goals of wherever we're applying for funding, and also the goals of the nonprofit organization. It can take anywhere from a day or two to a week or more, depending how large the project is. I'd say the success rate would probably be 2 and 3. To create a really great website or web application, usually what we start out with are focus groups, because we could have all the great ideas in the world, but if it's not going to make sense for our target audience, then we want to do it the right way. After that, it's a lot of writing, a lot of content. Before I even write one line of web design code, everything will be laid out in a document, and usually these documents are up to 20 pages depending on the size of the project, and it has everything from what colors the buttons are going to be, how many sections there are going to be, where the content will go. We developed a product called Brainhum CMS. CMS stands for Community Management System. The Edmonton Métis Cultural Dance Society have a website. So what this allows Métis dance employees to do is go online themselves, put in their username and password, and they're able to edit their site. It's really easy. We did that for them, and now they're totally loving it, because as soon as they have an idea or latest photos from a performance, they can log right in and make the change themselves. We recently completed a website called Pathfinder through the Aboriginal Youth Network, funded by the Levi Strauss Foundation, and we developed an employment module for that website. There's all kinds of quizzes and kind of learning about themselves, and also matching up to the government code so they can continue research at employment agencies and that kind of thing. Being an entrepreneur, I wear all kinds of different hats. I have to deal with technology, sales, project management. 1 minute I'm answering the phone, taking a sales call. Next minute I have to call somebody to ask them a question about their project. 10 minutes later maybe I'll be programming. There's new technology every week. There'll be a latest version of software coming out. We have to quickly learn how to apply it to what we're doing. With our web servers and our development, we do have to keep everything up to date and patched, and so all these things back and forth all day. Sometimes it's overwhelming to keep on top of things. A lot of time flies by really quick, so you have to make sure that you charge for your time. I have my turntables, which I'm also a musician, so if I ever need to kill some time when I'm looking at status bars or I'm waiting for a file to come down, I can take 2 steps to my left and play around with my DJing and scratching. It's lots of fun. Having my own business is really fun. I have worked for larger organizations, and learning from mistakes that I've seen working for other companies, I can apply that to my own business and have lots of fun. I can basically set my own schedule every day. Basically, the office politics is whether or not I'm gonna, have Frosted Flakes for breakfast or Cheerios. That's the extent of the politics, and something I really enjoy. So being an entrepreneur, you have to do a lot of things that are outside of your comfort zone. For example, I don't like talking in front of large groups, but if that's what I need to do to get the word out for Brainhum, I just, take a deep breath and deal with it and do it anyways. My hopes for Brainhum and our future projects is working with northern communities and remote communities in terms of getting connected and online and using them for beneficial things like telehealth and distance education.